As you just saw, these are chaotic scenes from a hospital. All people are hooked to oxygen tanks, emergency wards are full. One notice board advises patients to wait for 5 hours to be checked by doctors. 5 hours. This is not an exceptional case. Hospitals across China look the same. Staff is overstretched, patients are queuing up for hours, not just for urgent treatment, but also to mourn. You heard me right. These are the scenes from crematoriums in Shanghai. Dead bodies are laid out on stretchers. It's heartbreaking to watch. There's no denying it. People in China are dying from the Wuhan virus. And one funeral home is handling 5 times more corpses than usual per day. Those mourning their loved ones are being allowed only 5 minutes to say goodbye. It's morbid. China's healthcare system is overstretched, to say the least. Some say the entire system is broken. And these scenes are dystopian. How long can the regime look away? In fact, one expert says there could be 1 million or more deaths this winter from the Wuhan virus in China. 1 million. And he blames the lousy transition from zero COVID for these deaths. Listen in.
Quite possible that there'll be 1 million deaths or more this winter from COVID in China. And that number, it could have been much larger if China had opened 2 years ago and hadn't continued with zero COVID before vaccines were available. There would have been many, many more deaths from COVID in China. But at the same time, that number, 1 million or more, that could be a much lower number if there was a better preparation and possibly better timing for the transition away from zero COVID.
China needed better preparation to transition from zero COVID. You heard him. It's something we've been saying again and again. China's zero COVID nightmare has led to more deaths. Chinese dictator Xi Jinping locked up millions at a time when the world was opening up. He quashed dissent, butchered the economy, and when zero COVID failed, he began his cover-up. The World Health Organization says, as of January this year, there are more than 112,000 COVID cases in China and 359 deaths. Meanwhile, China says only 22 people have died from the virus since December. I ask, where is the lie? Remember, China says only deaths caused by pneumonia and respiratory failure in COVID patients would be classified as COVID deaths. Even the China Health Organization, the WHO, has called this definition too narrow. And while all this is happening, China is opening up to the world. It has removed most of its curbs and border controls. It has plans to unleash the Wuhan virus on the world again. In fact, China will reopen its borders with Hong Kong this week. Yes, no quarantine required, no on-arrival testing needed. Nearly 3 years after closing its borders, mainland residents can now travel overseas, possibly carrying the Wuhan virus with them. It's a recipe for disaster. On this show, we've repeatedly told you about the Wuhan virus cover-up. We've shown you scenes from hospitals, from crematoriums, from the streets.
但是一些这个地方都要出现一些弯曲的地方，这样人到这个感到是比较。